let me ask you a question. What happens when a Dipset legend, one of hip-hop's most erratic couples, and Harlem royalty encounter in the most untidy way imaginable? Your leak is so filthy that it makes hip-hop and love seem like Sesame Street. In addition to crying, Chrissy is collapsing. Jim Jones is not merely insane, he has vanished into thin air. And Camron is smirking as he sits back, as if he's been waiting 20 years to hit the upload button. Here's the worst part though. Was this set up or was it a leak? Because the timing couldn't be more ideal. According to reports, Jim was preparing a surprise proposal, or perhaps a covert wedding. But instead he's leaving as if he's just discovered the home is burning down. And let's face it, when has music been the exclusive focus of Dipset drama? This isn't only a triangle of affection, with burner accounts, receipts, and a history of treachery that won't go away. This is a soap opera set in Harlem. You will be asking yourself one question at the end of this story, so fasten your seatbelt. Was it really ride or die for Chrissy and Jim, or has she always been Cam's secret? Okay, let's dissect this since we are witnessing more than a simple hip-hop and petty love collapse. Chrissy isn't crying over Jim missing their date night. Camron isn't making fun of people on Instagram Live. No, this is larger, more unsightly, and more disorganized than anyone had anticipated. And it's being devoured by the internet like a banquet. Camron, Jim Jones, and Chrissy Lannon are three names that are now popular for betrayal, despite having been inscribed in Harlem history for loyalty and hustling. Whispers and secrets that have at last burst into the open. Chrissy Lannon, the lady who turned the tables and famously asked Jim to marry her on national TV. The daring and famous maneuver that garnered media attention now appears exposed, broken, and defenseless. For years, many have pondered if Jim was ever really involved or if Chrissy was attempting to restrain him before he escaped. Furthermore, the rumors suddenly seem unsettlingly persistent, unpredictable, and emotive. Jim Jones is a reality TV personality, rapper, and Harlem hustler. He has always been a guy of extremes, publicly shedding tears one moment while defending loyalty the next. Once best friends turned adversaries, his complex connection with Camron has a past that now comes back to haunt them all. Camron, Mr. Pinkfur from Harlem. He is more than simply a rapper and performer. He is a man who inspired the streets, to quote him, as much as they envy him. When it comes to personal grievances, he is patient, calculating, and crafty. When it leaks from his side, it is never unintentional or an accident, and we are currently witnessing precisely that. Chrissy and Camron were seen on camera in what looks to be a private moment, a scene that screams private and intimate. Dim lighting, flickering candles, murmured conversations, and Chrissy seems to be disclosing things she never wanted Jim to hear. There is no denying the chemistry. The body, questionable wording, followed by the audio. Chrissy's voice was raw, inquisitive, irate, and conflicted. It hinted at plans and asked questions that a committed partner shouldn't ask. Backup plans and contingencies that seem more like a business plan than a romantic relationship. Yes, Chrissy, there was a backup plan, but it involved Jim's longtime enemy and best friend. This is not a moment of misinterpretation or misunderstanding. Camron is not tweeting false information, denying, or scurrying. He leans in, instead, observing the mayhem while the leak simmers. Camron tweeted a mysterious statement that sent social media into a frenzy hours after the video was made public. Some things should have stayed between us, which was about them and never about Chrissy and Jim. That one tweet added fuel to an already blazing inferno. Additionally, Jim Jones did not respond as most people would have thought. He didn't dispute, he didn't yell, he didn't ask for an explanation. After leaving a private meal, he turned away from Chrissy and hasn't spoken since. Jim is a fiery person. Thus, silence is louder than any outburst. Furthermore, his disappearance says a lot. He obviously had some knowledge of the betrayal, or at least had suspicions about it before the video came to light. And walking, the only thing he could say without losing it was away. This scandal took time to develop. Backstage moments, whispers, rumors, and subtle for years. There have been indications. A relationship between Camron and Chrissy that went well beyond friendship was suggested by sly appearances, inside jokes, and even songs in his old mix. Phrases such as "keep your lady near" or "she possibly wind up with a ghost" now have a completely different connotation. And the internet is searching through old videos, pictures, and interviews as though they are looking for evidence that has always been there. We are seeing relationships, reputations, and a trust that was never as strong as fans thought come crashing apart. Camron's smirk, Jim's quiet, Chrissy's tears, and the unrelenting no one involved can escape the storm created by social media conjecture, and the consequences are just now becoming apparent. The video disclosure did not end the mayhem. Actually, that was only the start. As social media erupted, admirers attempted to analyze every moment of the video for hidden meaning, and gossip pages sprung up. Like a criminal scene, every look and every word that was said was examined. Chrissy was crying uncontrollably as she stayed glued to her phone. trying to explain herself to a world that was already passing judgment. Camron sat back and let it all burn, while Jim remained silent and vanished from view, which only served to fuel the rumors and conspiracy theories. According to insiders, this triangle of tension and secrets had been simmering for years before eventually erupting, demonstrating how brittle friendship, love, and loyalty are in Harlem's hip-hop community. And when both authentic and fraudulent screenshots started to circulate, the narrative only got more complicated. Some purportedly from Camron's former burner accounts, suggesting that another layer of betrayal that caused supporters to reevaluate. What they believed they knew was that Camron had been surreptitiously monitoring him, or that Chrissy had been plotting this with him all along. Then came the purported text messages and images that suggested Camron and Chrissy had private discussions about what would happen if Jim discovered. Phrases such as "if this goes incorrect," and "I understand you, as I usually did," provoking discussions on blogs, Instagram, and TikTok, leading others to wonder if this was a planned action or merely a personal relationship gone horribly wrong. Furthermore, the conjecture continued after that, due to claims made by certain alleged insiders that Love and Hip Hop had scenes taped but never shown. Times when Chrissy alluded to having a closer bond with Camron. Producers cut off moments for reasons no one will ever understand. At this point, fans began assembling footage from previous years by contrasting speech tones and body language. The fire was fueled even further when items that had previously been written off as coincidences or light-hearted banter suddenly appeared to be incriminating. Additionally, others supported Chrissy by claiming that this was others bombarded the comment sections without context accusations that surprised casual fans by characterizing her as disloyal, cunning, and even strategic. And sponsors and companies began to respond almost immediately and covertly, ending collaborations, deleting posts, and making evasive claims about integrity, trust, and values, indicating that there may be a very real financial consequence in addition to emotional harm. As if it weren't enough, the reactions of celebrities began to flood in. Dandy Smith is tweeting incoherently about treachery and karma. Reality stars publishing menacing cautions about the repercussions of keeping secrets. Her hand was inches from Camron's as gossip blogs examined old pictures of the two of them seeming unusually close backstage. Waist, his gaze fixed on her, a moment that seems foreboding in retrospect. And viewers were left wondering, as a result of the turmoil and manipulation depicted by all of this, whether there was a real breakdown of interpersonal ties or if the whole thing was staged for ratings. According to insiders, Chrissy experienced breakdowns on site since her panic was so intense during this time. She cried, gasped, and yelled at meetings, claiming she didn't do what people believed she had done. Despite his uncanny composure, Camron occasionally posted cryptic tweets that only served to additional fuel for conjecture. Additionally, Jim Jones, the one individual who could have shed light, remained in the background, stoking speculation that he might be hiding somewhere, preparing his next move, or merely attempting to privately process the betrayal. Additionally, production teams, fans, gossip sites, and celebrities all have an impact. What began as a single, the audience was left to discuss, conjecture, and analyze every aspect of Chrissy, Jim, and Camron's story as the leaked video turned into a full-fledged spectacle that was full of suspicion, emotion, history, and receipts. Complicated connections. Additionally, the story had evolved from a personal scandal to a national event by the time the dust settled, serving as a warning about secrets, loyalty, and the catastrophic results of combining public obsession with private turmoil. It became impossible to ignore the impact as the scandal grew more intense, with insiders, bloggers, and fans all guessing on what the final Camron, Jim, and Chrissy would suffer the repercussions. And even though Chrissy continued to cry, supposedly avoiding cameras and refusing to take calls, the public was unable to stop analyzing every tweet, old photo, and video clip for hints that could help us understand what actually happened. And when purported friends and unnamed sources started disclosing information, the story became even more convoluted. Regarding extravagant gatherings, details of extravagant parties, covert meetings, and private discussions that purportedly demonstrated Chrissy and Camron's intimacy were leaked by sources, had persisted for years, igniting discussions over whether Jim was ever fully informed or if he had been purposefully kept in the dark. Additionally, the social media craze only made the drama with trending booming comment threads, and even casual viewers contributing thoughts that range from epic treachery to manufactured reality TV plots. Although the production crew behind Love and Hip Hop, according to industry sources, was frantically trying to control the situation because they were concerned about litigation, ratings, and potential harm to their brand that could affect subsequent seasons. Additionally, there were rumors that legal advisors were working behind the scenes, examining NDAs, contracts, and possible defamation lawsuits. because in Hollywood with reality TV, a leak of this size might have major financial and legal repercussions in addition to causing emotional turmoil. Additionally, as the drama developed, purported text voice recordings and messages purportedly showing Chrissy doubting her allegiance, talking about other options, and implying intents that went against her public image, started making the rounds online, which only heightened public outrage, examination, and conjecture. Additionally, the majority of her supporters appeared to believe that this was a betrayal, even though some defended her, arguing that private discussions are not proof of crime, affected friendships, economic ties, and everyone's integrity, going beyond personal pain. And despite everything that was going on, Camron stayed eerily silent, occasionally making cryptic social media statements that appeared to admit the leak but ever accepting culpability, generating a mental chess game that left insiders and watchers wondering if he was a participant in a long-standing secret or the mastermind behind the timing. Jim's silence, meanwhile, said a lot, leading many to believe he was withdrawing to deal with the betrayal, quietly, preparing a reply, or even thinking about cutting off contact altogether. And the public speculation was only fueled by this silence, resulting in a vicious loop where each rumor, screenshot, and leaked message was regarded as possible proof of a long-kept secret of a decade. Chrissy had to deal with brand agreements, sponsorships, and partnerships in addition to the emotional damage, were allegedly canceled or placed on hold, and statements praising honesty and confidence were released. According to an insider, several businesses were covertly deleting posts and cleaning Satisfied, and pulling away from a scandal that was rapidly getting out of hand. Additionally, the combined impact of social media, public humiliation, and emotional breakdowns, a perfect storm of upheaval, was produced by rumors, celebrity comments, and financial ramifications, leaving everyone wondering whether Chrissy and Jim's relationship could last, whether Camron had hidden agendas, and whether the entire sequence had been arranged to increase the number of viewers, agreements, or retaliation. Additionally, earlier video that showed instances that fans now viewed as dubious reappeared as fresh information kept leaking. More interest was created by rumors of unseen interactions between Chrissy and Camron, and it was evident from the confluence of recent scandal, historical events, and shocking disclosures that this was more than just a love triangle or reality TV drama. It was a full-blown cultural event, a cautionary story about trust, loyalty, secrecy, and the ruthless court of public opinion. One video that altered everything left viewers, fans, and industry insiders wondering who would survive the pandemonium and who would be forever damaged. So, what do you believe actually took place here? Was Camron discreetly scheming behind everyone's back? Or was Chrissy genuinely loyal to Jim? Was this possible, set up for views, contracts, or just plain retaliation? Or are we seeing a betrayal in real life that has been building for decades? There is no doubt that the nobody can breathe because of the internet, and the consequences haven't ended yet. The voicemails, screenshots, leaked video, and mysterious tweets are only the beginning, and nobody has any idea what's going on, is aware of what will happen next. Jim's words are not as powerful as his quiet. The grin on Camron's face says it all, as well as Chrissy's tearshave, everyone wondering whether friendship, love, and loyalty in hip-hop can withstand the worst scandal. It's your time now. Who do you think is responsible? Is the truth much messier than anyone anticipated, or is this all just reality TV drama? Leave a comment below with your opinions. Point out what you believe to be the true story. And don't be shy. If you're addicted to this kind of drama, hit the like button. Click subscribe to ensure you don't miss anything. The next shocking discovery and twist on alerts, because, believe me, the story is not yet complete, and you will want to watch every startling twist before anybody else does. Supervisor.